Why are so many attractive women with ugly men? I actually got an email about this recently. I don't really need to read the email because he was basically just asking my thoughts on this topic. And he said a few more channels have covered it, so he wanted to get my thoughts. Before we get started, I just got off work, so I'm all dirty. Forgive me for not looking beautiful. And also, as always, I need to ask you guys to take a second to make sure that you're still subscribed, because many of you weekly tell me that you are mysteriously being unsubscribed. And if you haven't subscribed already, what are you doing? Take a second to subscribe and go. Could have been done already. So yeah, let's get into this topic. I think there's a couple things going on. For one, with the feminism and stuff, that's created or helped create this big rift, like between men and women, and I'm women hear me roar, and men are oppressors and evil bad guys. And so a lot of women don't want to date what usually was traditionally considered handsome. And a lot of times they don't want to date like the fit, jacked guy that you think they would want to date, because these women are so toxic. They know that man's not going to put up with their bad behavior. Make no mistake, that's a big part of it. Most women know that a guy with options is not going to put up with the bad behavior. So she has to consciously make the decision, do I want to stop the bad behavior and be with this handsome guy, or keep up with the bad behavior and just kind of stick with this simp, weak guy that has no other options and is going to let me run all over him like a steamroller. That's one part of it. Another part of it is, like I always say, pop culture in itself, bro. Women date alongside of pop culture. They date in line with what the media tells them is attractive. You can extrapolate that to race. You can extrapolate that to the physical features, hair color, the way they dress, the car they drive, whatever. Women will go along with what everyone tells them to go along with. Throughout history, that's always been the case. For example, growing up, when I was a teenager and like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and stuff was popular, that is all the women wanted. Not all, but most of the women, that's all they wanted. Nowadays, you walk around dressing like NSYNC, you probably ain't getting any dates. I've had countless black dudes email me or hit me up on Instagram saying, hey bro, your thoughts on the pop culture stuff is very real, because I'm somebody that doesn't embrace hip hop culture. As a black dude, I can't get any looks from women. I get nothing. And they're showing me pictures and they're like handsome guys, fit guys, wearing like a nice suit, or some nice like business casual clothes. But the women in their area, that's not what they want, man. They want the hood guy, So I don't know, man. I think a lot of it is that, like I said, and also the biggest part is probably the fact that the feminism has brainwashed a lot of these women. And most of these women don't want to give up the bad behavior. That's the truth. A healthy woman will recognize a good man. But unfortunately, like I always say, most women out here are not healthy because broken homes are the norm. That's what I always say. Broken homes are the norm now in America. So toxic and trashy and vulgar and, narcissistic maybe. All of those things are what feels like home to a lot of women, unfortunately. And you could tell them this, but their emotions overrule them, so they can't do anything about it for the most part. And even if they fight their emotions and date the healthy guy, they still feel the desire for that toxic guy because daddy wasn't there, and if he was there, he was a piece of shit. So that's what feels like home. That's one of the biggest problems nobody really has an answer for addressing, is the broken home syndrome of America. This is like the norm now. Even in like financially decent neighborhoods, broken homes are the norm. The nuclear family is broken. It's something that is a huge catastrophic issue that nobody really wants to address. So with that and having the woke pop culture and feminism raise most of these women in the school systems, that has become their teacher, their North Star, right? So this is infecting their brains at such a young age that what most men recognize as, traditionally handsome or to be respected by other men, women don't even see that as, valuable or attractive at all, because they're looking at the trashy pop culture with music and television and movies and reality TVs and social media. along with the feminism that's brainwashing them in the schools. A healthy, self-respecting man is now looked at as toxic and controlling and oppressive. We're all fucked up. Like, this is all twisted and mangled. What's right is wrong, and what's wrong is right, and what's right is not even sure, and what's wrong is absolutely sure. This goes so deep that I as much as I want to find solutions, I don't know of any real good solutions. But I do know the broken home and our lack of, at least trying to walk with some level of integrity is a big factor. A lot of the issues with most trashy women today, like I always say, it is the broken home thing. It is the feminism and the pop culture and the public school system indoctrinating women at a very young age, and men. Look at all the weak men everybody talks about. It's because they're also being indoctrinated by this. It's poisonous. I would almost say if I had kids, at this point, if I had kids, I'm almost certain I wouldn't put them in public school. I don't know if I'd put them in school at all. I'm thinking about raise them like a wild jungle kid. Just bring them to work with me. Let them run around. And I know a lot of people don't like that, but it can't be worse than these shitty public schools. You're not going to convince me otherwise. The public school system is indoctrinating children, and by the time these girls get to middle school, like I've said before, look at the shit they're looking at on their phones. The vulgar, over-sexualized stuff, like watching the corn videos, the extremes there. Like, these girls are ruined by middle school a lot of times. You think they have a chance at being good girlfriends or wives or mothers? Not a chance. We got to start way younger. We got to start in the household. The households are broken. And I just went on some big, long diatribe that kind of went away from the point. But yeah, that's it. These are all mostly broken women out here. They're either A, being with this weak guy because he's just the surface level simp that's paying out the ass to be with her, kissing her feet, and or putting up with the bad behavior because that bad behavior is so fun. She's so drunk on narcissistic fuel because of the stuff she's doing or looking at on her phone, the social media attention, talking to endless other men, entertaining them, posting stuff that shows no respect for this guy, but he has to put up with it because he doesn't have any other options. Either he puts up with it or he has nothing again. He's back to dating Angela. Or she is so indoctrinated and twisted that she doesn't know a good man when she sees one. She might see a good traditional knight in shining armor, and I don't mean that as a simp. I mean like a good self-respecting man that's jacked and handsome and takes care of himself and is a man of his word. She might see that as a super turnoff. There's a lot of those women out there. They're so twisted that they don't know a good man when they see one. And when they do see a good man, it's so boring it makes them want to fall asleep behind the wheel. They can't do it. They need you to be a scumbag. They need you to be toxic and borderline abusive to even have that polarity of being above them on the masculinity chart even work. Because these women are so masculine and vulgar and toxic that you almost have to be abusive to even match, let alone be above them on the masculinity chart. These women walk, talk, and act like truckers, trashy construction workers. What do you guys expect? Most of the time, let me wrap it up because I'm just talking in circles. Most of the time when you see the super hot chick with the physically unattractive guy, maybe it is real love. Maybe she actually finds it attractive and it's healthy. Let's not exclude that. Of course, that's possible. But is it probable? No, it's not. That's not being mean. That's the truth. It's not probable. What it is most likely this guy is paying to play, or he's thinking she's being loyal and she's not, or he's straight up putting up with the bad behavior because she says, take it or I'm leaving it. And he can't afford to let her go because he doesn't want to be alone and he's not going to ever get anyone else like her. Or again, she's so toxic that the other options she probably has do not, they do not cut it for her because they're going to be oppressing her and stopping her and trying to lock her in the kitchen or whatever bullshit feminism they're talking, talking points there are this week. So that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think. And as always, take a second to like the video. It helps me out a lot. It offsets all the haters that drop a thumbs down, and they always drop a thumbs down. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It takes you a second and go. Could have been done already. And if you have subscribed already, please make sure that you're still subscribed because every week I get at least a few people telling me that, hey man, I just realized again, I was unsubscribed. I had to resubscribe. Till next time, guys, God bless. Be well. Stay toxic. I'm joking. And I'm out.